Welcome back, Figment Quad 4 here, down in the catacombs in the main room that has 3 puzzle rooms leading off of it. Once you've solved these 3 puzzles, this iron door opens up. So I put out a video that showed off all 3 of these puzzle rooms, and someone asked if I could do a tutorial on them. So that's what we're going to do. So there's the ice room, decoder room, has a decoder ring in the floor, and then the music room. So I'll just show you how these work just real quick. The idea of this one is you walk in, you've got fishing rods, and you've got to figure out how to grab it, pull it, and slide it all the way over to here. Once it lands in here, that opens up and there is a barrel the player can reach. Pretty easy one. This one, when you walk in, you've got rings in the floor, buttons on the wall that control it, and figure out which ones of these you need to flip. Once you have the right combination of these lights turned on and off, then this will open and you can get in the barrel. So we've got this black bar here, make this ring go around, and then once that's black, and they're all 3 black, then these will reveal the 3 colors that need to be flipped. And in this case, those colors are, yeah, so that opens up. So I'll show you how to make that. And then the last one is this music room. So I turn on this lever, the music goes, that pops out of the wall. So the player has to make it across, and then when they get there, they grab the item out of here. It will stop the music, stop that from going. These will all light up, and then this little path will show up so they can get back in sort of a victorious manner. Oh yeah, here's a version where I replaced it all with glass. You can see how it's working, which is kind of cool. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, so I'll show you how to make all 3 of those. So let's head out into the wild. So we're out here in the wild with these, it's a fake castle, ignore that. I also just copied and pasted it here for testing purposes, etc. So this right here, you can kind of see some of the stuff around it, which is cool, but in here is the ice room. So this one's really simple. There's not a whole lot to explain here. The basic concept is you're sliding around an armor stand with a fishing pole. So really, that's the puzzle. That's the redstone for the most part. There's not much. The thing is learning how to place it. So right here I start with something where the only way the player can go is this way. So it's not like they have a lot of thought or choice. It just teaches them, you know, you walk into a room, you're given a fishing rod, and there's an armor stand, and it's like, well, what can I do? Pretty basic. You learn, this is what I'm doing. Then they can go over here, and then once they go here, they have a choice to go that way or that way. And so that's when they have to start thinking about what's the right way to go, how do I solve this puzzle? And they just slide around. And I didn't do too much clever stuff with this. I'm sure you could come up with more ideas. I just did the basic thing, and I didn't want the player to get bored with it because it would get annoying if this room was too long. But anyway, so they just pull it around, and then I've got this concept here where if there's an armor stand right here, then the idea is they stand here, grab that, pull it through, and yeah, so there's a little bit of redstone, but it's really easy. Basically, you have a redstone torch that's powering the piston, a sticky piston to keep the ice up. And then when you want it to come down, you have a pressure plate hooked to redstone that just feeds into the block, which powers the block, unpowering the, or you know, turning off the redstone torch and allowing the piston to, you know, go down. I also had the idea that you could have some where, you know, now that the armor stands over here, well, where do I go with it from here? Maybe they need to step on this to bring up a block to pull it into. That was actually there because I pulled it over earlier. And this is even easier because it's just a pressure plate with redstone leading to a piston. The piston's down, then when you stand on it, the piston goes up. Really easy. This puzzle is more about just setting up the room than it is about you know, any sort of redstone or anything. And the most basic concept is really just pull the armor stand somewhere and then figure out where could the player go from here and try to come up with something clever and I don't know. That's sort of how I design puzzles. Then the only other redstone to this is the secret barrel at the end, which is really easy. You just have the armor stand falls down on there. Redstone goes to over here. So normally the piston is extended by this redstone torch that's always on, but once the pressure plate is pushed, it just powers this block, turning off the torch, retracting the piston and revealing the barrel here. Really, really easy stuff, not much to it. This is the easiest of the 3 puzzles. Now we'll go to the decoder room. Alright, so the decoder room it looks more complicated than it is, really. So you have this sort of thing where you've got your different colored wools, you've got the lights to indicate what's on and what's off, and then you've got levers so the player can change it. And as they change it, it changes the AND gates back here. So it's really quite simple. Let's just do some lamps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got your wool here, and some levers. So you want to decide what you want your combination to be, and go ahead and flick those levers. So I want red, white, and blue. I'm from America, so there we go. And then on the back here, just put a block, put redstone, and then what we're going to do is we're going to have these AND gates. And the AND gates, what they do is they say as long as both of the inputs to an AND gate are on, then the output will be on. So here we have an AND gate. This is on, then the output is also on. If either of these was off, like if I flipped this lever, then the output is off. So what we want really is when these are all in the correct state, which right now is on, off, on, off, on, then we want redstone coming out of it. So obviously the red, white, and blue are already there. The other ones we'll just need to put a redstone torch here. So right now the output of this little thing is on, and when we turn this on, that turns the torch off. So that's pretty easy. Just connect redstone to everyone, put redstone torches on the one that you don't want on. Then we're going to hook up some basic AND gates. These are real simple. I've gone over them before. Put down 3 blocks, a torch there, there, and there, and a redstone in the middle. Then you just feed your inputs into these blocks with the torches, and bada bing, got to connect that. Okay. I say it's easy and then I mess it up. So we'll go ahead and do that for this as well. Now we have those 2 AND gates, and then we have this one other input here. So let's go ahead and we'll just do like this. We'll go wah, 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 wah. And then there we go. So there's another AND gate, taking the white input and the output of the AND gate there. And then we just need one more AND gate here. So we'll take the redstone from here and then take this one and feed it into the side. And there you go. So now the output of this one is, did they solve it or did they not? Right now, red, white, and blue, yes, they solved it. Turn on one of the wrong ones, it turns off. So pretty basic. You just use some AND gates. That's how you do it. There is the other option I did here where all of the wrong ones you connect up. You need to have a repeater connecting, going out of the back of the wrong ones, and then all of the redstone just connects up and then is used one time in an AND gate. In this case, it doesn't make much difference since there's only 5, but for instance, up in that one where I use 8 in the actual puzzle, it's a lot easier to hook up the 5 wrong ones like this than to have all those extra AND gates. So again, you just hook up all the wrong ones and use that once in an AND gate. And the difference, or the reason why you put this redstone repeater here, is because if you don't, then when they turn on, let's turn these off. So they come in here into a room, they flick the wrong one, all the wrong ones would turn on, which obviously is a little revealing, and we don't want that to happen. So that's why you have to have the repeater to direct the flow of redstone, so it can only output something and not actually take some in and light up the block. That's how that works. Then what it does afterwards is it opens up this barrel for you to get to. So let's grab some of these blocks. We're going to need a normal piston. This one's a sticky piston. And then an observer. We'll need that. And I guess I don't have any redstone. I don't need a lever. Okay, so when this goes off, we don't want this light. We don't care about this light. What we actually want this to do is open up the barrel thing. So we'll go 2 blocks, put your barrel right there. Then you're going to have in the ground here a regular sticky piston. Or sorry, regular piston, not a sticky piston. Then your shroom light, then your glass, and then your let's see. We need a block there, and then right above that is going to be a sticky piston. And so that's the basic build of that. Then we need to hook up the redstone. So we need to have a redstone that comes into the bottom here to power that piston down there, and then we need some redstone there to power that sticky piston. So we'll just stair step this down. And so there we go. Now we have our 2 redstone inputs we need to power. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do something called a pulse limiter. This redstone coming out of here is just a solid pulse. You can see it's just on. It's just on forever. So what we want is a piston pushing an observer. So an observer notices when something behind it changes, like this. You see that? Every time that block behind it changes, that puts out a little tiny thing of redstone. So by doing this, what's going to happen is whenever this gets powered, I'm going to put one here to see it, the observer is going to go out there and put out a quick pulse of redstone, which will power the piston and then unpower it. So it extends and then retracts, which is what we want. And we're going to need a repeater here. So when it's first powered, it'll go out there, it'll extend, it'll push one little redstone, and that'll power that guy. And then whenever they unsolve it, when this turns back off, then this will pull the observer back and put out a little pulse to go reset it by pushing those blocks back up. We also need a little bit of delay, because this pulse is actually so short from an observer that it won't work with pistons very well. So like a sticky piston, if you power it with just an observer, it'll push the block and then release it, so it'll drop it instead of pulling it back when it needs to. I don't know if any of that made any sense to you guys, but there it is. Okay, so we're going to hook that up to our 2 things there, and now if we were to undo this, you can see that piston pushes those up to be in the way. And if we power this, that sticky piston pushes the block down to block the barrel. Or, sorry, it goes in front of the barrel, but it pushes these blocks out of the way, and then it retracts the block so you can actually get to it. So, if we kind of just flip this on and off, you can see that's what we got going on. Red, white, and blue. So the other part of this decoder ring is the actual decoder ring. That's all just flip levers until you get the right one, but the fun of it is there's going to be some way to tell what the correct colors are. Otherwise it'd just be a guessing game, and that'd be annoying. So this is the decoder ring, and it looks a little complicated, but we're going to go ahead and build it, and it's really not as bad as it looks. Okay, so first we're going to get some wool. So first we're going to have our inner ring, which is going to be 4 long on all sides, just going to be a square. Then you have to leave a gap for this to work, and build a ring that just has 1 gap in between. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that one's 4, then this one's 8, and then you'll have this other one, which is going to be 12, which is the push limit for a piston, I believe. So if I put an extra one there, like I'm not supposed to, some power. Oh, actually, I don't know what the push limit is. This should be too many. No. What? Alright, well, this is embarrassing. I don't actually know what the push limit is. Apparently it's that right there, which is 1, 2, 3, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so I'm just losing my mind. But anyway, it's 13, so since this is 12 long, it's the limit of the piston extender. So you couldn't have 4 rings around each other like this. If you found a way to make it more compact, you could do it, or if you wanted to have 2 different sets of rings or something like that. But just as I'm building this, this is the limit, is 3 rings. What's going to happen is these pistons are going to push. So this will push that way. We'll need a piston to push this way, and then a piston to push this way, and then a piston to push this way. So you can see that will push this side like this, this one will push like this one will push like this one will push like this, and you've got full circle. And we're going to do the same thing with our inner rings. Ta-da! So there's our little pattern. So let's grab an axe, set air. Okay. So now we're going to grab a target block. We're just going to put a target block under all of these pistons. The great thing about target blocks is that if redstone goes next to them, it connects to it. So if you had, let's say, a block like this and then a redstone lamp, let's say, and I'm like, okay, I've got redstone here and I've got, look at that, doesn't connect. So it's kind of annoying because then you have to figure out a way to wire it like this, which is just obnoxious to have to figure out how to do. So a great thing is if you wanted to have a target block, when redstone goes next to it, it automatically connects to it, which can make a lot more compact redstone and make it just a lot easier to wire things up. So that's why we're going to do this, so that it's really easy. You just run redstone next to one of these pistons, and boom, it'll extend. We're going to need to hook up the each of these ring by ring. So we're going to hook up the inner ring first. So we've got redstone coming off of there, coming off of here. Oops. Put a little whoop, and a little whoop, 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 and bada bing. And then you want this to come out to the side like this. The thing is, you want 2 of them opposite of each other to push at the same time, and then wait, and then push the other 2. That way it can actually complete the circuit. Otherwise, if you have them all 4 pushing at the same time, it's not going to work out. Let's see. I guess we're going to have this one, because it's already connected. And this one. And then see, those are opposites, and those are both connected already. Then the repeaters, put it on full delay. So now, if I was to put in a quick redstone pulse here, oop, either that, oh yeah, I forgot a step. The first ones that are pushing are going to be this one and that one. So when this pushes, there needs to be a gap here for it to push to. So make sure you have those gaps there and there. And now it's let's put something in there so you can actually see what's going on. That target block will rotate. Let's just put this up so we can, there we go. So you can see in the background there. There we go. But it has to be a quick pulse. If you go like this, those 2 will extend, and the other two won't be able to extend because they're being blocked. And then it messes it up. So it's got to be a quick pulse. So again, we're going to have that pulse limiter we talked about earlier. And that's no big deal. So we need a sticky piston, and we're going to need an observer. Bada bing. And we're going to go sticky piston, observer, and then this feeds in this redstone, and then we'll need a button, ba-ba. And when I push that button, that gives the right amount of right pulse there, and that just goes around and around and around. Pretty simple. Then we just have to hook up the other ones. You know, you've got your let's see, your second ring here. So we're going to go down a little bit so that we can not interfere. Oh, I need one next to that, and then and perfect. We'll just have this go here. So that's the height we want that. Connect up all the redstone. We'll just go ahead and do this since I'm right here. But sticky piston, observer, block, button. Does the exact same thing as before. So we'll need to hook up this side with and then I didn't hook up the wrong one, did I? I did. I hooked up the yeah, that's what I did. I actually need this one here. I did the wrong ring. Okay. Oops. Oh. It's a little tricky sometimes to figure out how the redstone needs to be, but there it is. There it is. Okay. And now on this side, we'll have this, and then this will connect over to that. Now, some of the more astute observers may notice that this redstone line right here in particular is way too long. This redstone will never make it over to there, and so we'll need to have some repeaters, which is fine. We just need to extend it, and as we extend it, first let's just take these out so we can power the pistons. This is what I always like to do instead of this guessing game or counting and whatever. I did this one wrong. This one is too close. Because this is where the redstone goes. There we go. Okay. But anyway, if I put a redstone torch there, you can see all those pistons should be extended now, and since I got rid of those blocks, it's not going to cause any problems. So that's the only one where the redstone doesn't make it. So we'll need to put a repeater. We'll put it here so that both of these are getting the same delay. We'll also put one on the other side here so that these ones are getting the same delay. The timing for these types of things are really important. So if we put a delay on that side, we also want it on this side. So all of them are getting a 1-tick delay from the input. Now we need to decide which ones go first. So before we had the front right goes first and the back left, and then the front left and back right go second. So front right, back left. This will go first, which means we need a delay to go to this, oops, to this other one here. We'll just put a full delay there. And then on the other side over here, we'll put a full delay right there. And actually, we may not need this because that other is actually extending it. So that was an unnecessary step. But I think we need it for the bigger ring. So let's just get rid of that and put wool down. So, right, we'll replace that. We want gaps here and back there. So we want to fill in this wool. Hopefully this is all making sense. So we'll test the inner ring. It works. Test the middle ring. Oh, I did something wrong. This is what I was saying about timing. Something about my timing is wrong. Oh. We want this front right one and that back left one to be going at the same time. I put the delay on the wrong one here. Which is why it actually is important that we put this redstone repeater there, and we put one here, because we do have to have just that 1 tick to make that all the way. I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyway, well, where we actually need there to be a delay is going to this one here. So we'll just go here, and here, and here. And that's where we'll put a delay. Bada bing. And do I have a delay on that one already? I do. Okay. Let's try this again. You'll just do the same thing with the third ring. You'll just hook it all up, etc., etc. The next part is having this top thing. Because right now we do have it to where we can move the rings by pushing buttons. That's great, but what we need is some sort of windows here. So we're going to take this, we're going to take this, let's take some of this, and we'll take a little bit of this, and there we go. We'll just decide a line that we want to be the black line to indicate that we need it to be black. So let's put glass on top of these so that you can see what's underneath. Then we'll put black slab here. This is just a black stone slab. Looks real good. And then we can surround that with blocks like this. Bada bing. So that's what it's going to look like when it's done, so it'll be pretty obvious to the player. Get black in that little spot there to complete this black line, hopefully. And then, when that's correct, we want there to be a window here showing them the correct ones that they need to flip over on that wall flippy thing we just showed off earlier. So that's what you need. The rest of the floor you're just filling in. You know, I use stairs to complete these to kind of give this like circuit look. So it's this is connected to that. That's really easy to do. That's I don't think I need to explain that. But anyway, I'm going to actually get rid of this glass because what we need to do is we need to grab some wool, black, white, green, blue, red, orange. Make sure you have all your colors. So let's just go ahead and set black here. Okay, there we go. And then here we're going to have our red, white, and blue. So we want red, we want white, and we want blue. And then what you're going to do, you know, now whenever that black is there, that's there. So that's good. Then you'll just spin these a few times. So we don't want the player to have to sit there and spin this outer ring all the way around. So let's say that, you know, this is the, what color did we put on the outer? Red. Let's say this is red. And now they have to push the button 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know how many times. A multiple of 12 probably. To get it all the way back to the starting position. That's really annoying. So we want to have multiple solutions around here. We want to have a bunch of red wool and a bunch of black wool in the same relation to it as this is, so that they can just push it, you know, maybe 5 times and it's in the correct spot, and then the next 5 times it'll be in the correct spot again. So let's just push these one. Actually, let's just make this easy on ourselves and just put redstone here. So when I push this, it does both. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So now we have, again, I don't have the outer ring hooked up on this one, but we have the 2 inner rings. We're going to go ahead and replace this with black. And then this guy we want to be white, and this is blue. And so by doing this, we're just adding more solutions. We'll do this again. We'll just do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one's already black. You can see we're back to the basic one for that, so we'll just worry about this one. We'll do black here, and then here, we'll replace that with white. And yeah, that's all you do. It's pretty easy. Just go around and put the wool over there, and then you're covered up with the you know, the stairs and whatever decoration you want. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. So I've got the different rings. Why don't I have a button on this one? I think that's it. I think that's all there is to this one. Let's head to the music one. So this right here is all the redstone you're going to need. So we'll walk through this step by step, but it's also just, I mean, all this stuff is just a few little tricks, and you put them together and you can do something cool. And let's start grabbing some of these components. We need redstone repeaters, dust, some lamps, a note block, some sort of block, doesn't really matter, sticky piston, observer, building blocks are always good. We'll start with that. The basic component of this whole music room is, of course, the music, which is created by a clock that goes around here. Let's see, turn this on. So every time it gets to that 4th tick, the pistons extend. So that's it. So we can demonstrate a clock real quick. So this is a really basic clock. You've got redstone going around, and the repeaters make it have a delay, so the redstone will travel around. I actually don't know if this is going to be long enough. Ooh, that's a quick clock right there. And then you could have something stuck to the side. A lamp, that's too fast of a redstone for it to recognize. Let's see if we did put something down here so it has an interesting sound. Yeah. So that's a very fast clock. Let's stop that. But you'll notice I had to put in a quick little signal to get it started. So let's firstly build a bigger clock. You can see here I have a clock where it has 2 full repeaters of delay in between every corner. That way it's dun 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 instead of dun 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 dun. You know, we've got to have that delay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to stick one there and one there, both on full delay. We'll stick one here on full delay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Da, 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 full delay. Skip one, full delay. Okay, and the reason for that is we're going to have this little side thing where we put a block in, and I'll explain that in just a second. But this looks right. We'll put redstone here, 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 here. We'll need a block that can be pushed in and out of there, and then this is just going to be redstone. Okay, so let's get a lever here. When we turn this on, we want the clock to start. So, oops. If we do this, then this will extend. And if you know anything about redstone, you know that a repeater will push redstone through a block. So over here, it just goes through here. But over here, if this block is retracted, the redstone just stops there. So this will stop our clock from going just by removing that block. So when we have the system on, of course we want the block to be there to complete the circuit to allow the redstone to get all the way through. It's just like completing an electrical circuit, if you know anything about that. So the other aspect that we need besides completing the circuit is we need to introduce that little pulse there. And how do we do that? Well, we've messed with it before. Let's see, where is it? Right here. This is a sticky piston with an observer. This is a rising edge detector, as we've talked about before. I demonstrated a few other things. So we're also going to have one of those here. And then, yeah, and then like that. Okay. So, let's see. And this is what I was talking about before with the target blocks helps. You don't have to do all this weird mapping around. If I used a target block here, that would make it easier. Let's see. Let's get a target block in here. We got a target block. We got a target block. Now it really doesn't matter where I run the redstone. Boom. Like that. Easier. So anyway, what this will do is when I flick this lever, it'll push the block out to complete the circuit, and then this will push over, the observer will detect the change and put out a quick pulse, which will then travel through the circuit, creating a clock. And you can see it working. And when we turn off the lever, it retracts that block. As soon as this gets back to here, it can't go anywhere, so it just stops and the clock is off. So that's how you turn on and off the circuit. Then this part's pretty easy. You just have, let's see, let's put gold down here. Now actually, it's important to note that you can't run redstone over a here we go, over a musical box, because the musical block has what is this called, a note block? Yeah, it has to have a space above it for it to be able to make the sound. If there's anything blocking it above it, if there's another block, it muffles it. Same with redstone. So you can't just run redstone over the top, unfortunately. So what we can do is we could, let's just use some target blocks again. Those are pretty neat. So let's put one on stone and the other one on that. There's a ding and there's a drum. And then let's power it and then see what happens. Let's turn it on. Yeah, so you've got the drum and the musical note. So we'll do the same thing over here. We'll put one on there. Put that. Well, I guess the drum can be the same the whole time, but the note we want to go up a little bit. We'll go over here. Put another one. And this. And then we'll have to put another one here. And I keep forgetting to put the gold block down there. There you go. So there's our rhythm. Okay, and here's a mock room I had. So as the rhythm is going, on this last one, it's making these pistons extend. But there's a timing issue. You want to have the timing. So I messed with the timing in there and there a lot to try to get it to feel right, because it's like, do you want it to go right when the beat hits? Do you want it to go the pistons to extend at a time where if you jump on the beat, you'll be fine? Like, how do you want to time it? And it's kind of hard to figure out exactly when you want it to go. But let's go ahead and set up a little piston wall here. So here we go. And then we've got our blocks that will stick out of the wall. We've got, you know, a pit or whatever here. So the player has to get across it, and they'll fall into, you know, whatever bad thing if this pushes them out. So this is pretty simple. I just used target blocks in the escape room to do this. So we'll come off of here, and let's see what kind of timing we got. So that obviously goes on 3. So let's put a full repeater. Still too much. But you want to have this option to start on the previous one so that you can add repeaters and try to mess with it. So you have some leeway to figure out how to get the timing. Yeah, okay. So that feels okay. And yeah, like I said, if you want it to be slightly later, you can add another delay here. If you want it to be less, you can, you know, drop one of these down a little bit. Whatever, you can adjust it. So you're coming off the third one. All right, yeah. And you notice when I turn it off, it goes back to that gap before it stops playing. That's the core of it. That's the core of the thing. I do have this other circuit here, which is basically a hopper clock. Well, let me just show you how this works. We'll put a target block here, and a torch here, and a hopper here. So if you crouch, you can put it on the side of the other one, and they can be connected to each other. So if you put something in here, it'll just go from one to the other, and this redstone torch locks it so it doesn't put it back. And what this is going to do is this is going to keep track of how many loops we've done. So every time that this powers and makes this note in this drum, it'll also turn off this redstone torch, allowing one of these to be pushed over into here. And so that's why what we're going to need is a locker here. Boom. When this light's on, this is locked. So every time that this pulses, that will undo, and it'll allow one block to go through. Let's just grab a whole stack of these, I guess. can see every time it comes around, it drops one more in here. So we can decide, you know, how many do we want it to be? How many loops? Let's say we want 12 loops before it opens the secret thing. When it's gone a certain amount of times, it'll open this up, and this says assist mode. And so you have the option to flip this on, and it makes those pop out, which could make it a little easier, give you extra little things to step on. So if you wanted to have some option, and I didn't want it to be like the player is stuck with it, you know, it's like, okay, you failed enough times or enough times passed, now this has happened and you can't undo it and do it the right way. You've got easy mode. Oh, this is still on. I wanted it to be an option for the player where they could choose whether they want it to be on or not. So that's why it opens the door to where they can flip the lever if they want, turn on assist mode, whatever. But that goes by how many times the loop is gone. So this is the basic thing of it. It's just a hopper clock. And if you turn this off, all of these will funnel back over here. And since this is locked, they won't go back. So once that's empty, you turn this on, and then it's ready to go again. So what we do here is this going to get in the way? Yeah, let's move this. Boop, boop. And this is what? Something like that? Okay, let's see. We've got this. We need the comparator to come off of this hopper here that has stuff in it. So when this is empty, that's when it triggers the opening assist mode thing. So that we'll have go into a repeater, because this signal is going to be nothing. So we want the redstone repeater to make it a full signal so it can make it over to where it needs to go. Well, I guess it's when you fall down. So you fall down and then this opens up. So what we need to have is, let's see, we'll do two sticky pistons like this. And these will be powered. And then I need to go back up here and see what's going on here. We'll make a little stair step thing coming up. So this redstone that comes from this, as long as there are items in there, which will be until it counts down a certain amount, as long as there are items in there, this will be extended, blocking whatever's behind here. So then back here we would have some sort of assist mode lever, which is what we did in the escape room. So let's just put a lever there. We're not going to have this do anything right now because, you know, whatever you want it to do as an assist mode, that's fine. But let's let this go now. So the clock's going to go. This is going to empty out. How many do we have in there? Let's make it less so we don't have to wait as long. But we've fallen down. Oh, I'm giving up. This game's terrible. I can never do this. Wah, 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 wah. It's so hard. I wish there was an assist mode. Oh, I failed enough times. That opens up. I have the option to now flick that and then do whatever it does. So that's how that works. And then we have the barrel. So the barrel has something in it that the player needs to grab. It's not a magma block, obviously. But once they get across this, you know, gauntlet, and then they can grab whatever's in the barrel, that's when everything is going to just stop because they've completed the task. So we'll take a comparator. Oop, I missed. There you go. And as long as this has something in it, these are all turned off, and that leads into the AND gate. That's right. Okay. So we'll put a repeater to extend this signal, and then what we want to do is have an AND gate, because once we grab the thing, we want the music and everything to stop. We don't want it to keep playing if they've solved the trial. So instead of having this, well, we do need the lever. I don't know why I just destroyed that. Sorry. we have a lever because that's how the player turns it on. But instead of that going directly into there, we're going to have an AND gate. Yay, AND gates. So this is going to be one of our inputs, and then our other input is going to be this barrel. As long as there's something still in the barrel, then we will keep the game. We will allow the game to be played. Okay, we'll need a repeater to get it over there. Boop, boop. Put our redstone torches there and there and there. So you can see there's an item in the barrel, and we have the lever. Oh, something went wrong with the, there we go. When I put that torch there, it did a quick pulse and messed up that block. So you can see right now the barrel has something in it, so that condition is met. When I turn on the lever, both conditions are met, it starts the game. And then you'll notice if I take this out of here, it retracts the block, and it'll finish the cycle, and then it's done. The other thing is I have this cool little wall thing that pops out. Let's do this. Stone, brick, stair. I don't want infested. Get out of here. Okay. So this is the wall over here. It's just a solid wall. But I would like something to pop out to allow the player to run to the other side. So I'm going to want stairs on either side of this. It'll be nice for the player, I think. And one way to hide those is to just put a block like this, some stairs like this. So on this side it looks like a wall, on this side it's stairs, and then whenever it pushes out, it'll actually be stairs. So we'll do this. If I could just get this to be correct. And a way to do just a cool little animation is to have this cascading sort of effect. So you have each one take a little longer than the one after it, or the one before it. No, yeah, after it, before it. So you've got this redstone repeater here, then this, add another tick, this, add a tick from that. This is going to be full. Then we've got a full one here and one little one there. And then we've got a full one, oops, and then 2 ticks, and then a full one, and then 3 ticks. So redstone across here, and this will come from here, but this needs to be inverted. So yeah, you got a sneak preview. So let's turn the game off and put our item back in here. Doesn't matter what the item is. So as long as there's an item in there, it turns off this redstone torch, and so all these are retracted. You can't get across using that. But as soon as we take this out, all these come out in this cool animation, and we can walk across and get back out. And I think that's it. Thanks for watching, and if you like the editing on this video, it's thanks to LrgLongTrousers, so subscribe if you want to see more.